I just can't take no pleasure in killing. Just some things you gotta do. Don't mean you have to like.
I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
You want to know what happens to an eyeball when it gets punctured? You got any idea how much blood jets out of a guy's neck when his throat's been slit?
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
What's up, everyone? DJ Nubis here with you on the Metal Time Radio podcast with my co-host and good friend and ghoul brother from another ghoul mother, Mr. Tony of the Dead. We are the Ghouls of Midnight here with episode 88. What we do every week, we alternate picks, and this time around is my pick for a movie called Allegoria from 2022, directed by Spider-One, Rob Zombie's little brother. And if you know the band Power Man 5000, he's the vocalist for that band. So it stars Crizzy Fox, John Ennis, Bryce Johnson, Edward Hong, Adam Bush, and we also have Scout Taylor Compton, who's the most notable face that I knew in this film. And it is an American horror anthology. So I did not know that going into this. So I was kind of surprised when it started breaking down into different things, but pleasant surprise nevertheless.
Yeah.
But before we dive in, let's give everyone a little treat and show them the trailer for this wonderful film. This is Allegoria.
Death needs more. Death needs me more. I am an allegoria of nothing. A reflection that refuses to look back. A human vampire with endless time that's about to run out.
And there you go. So yeah, it's an anthology, which is kind of interesting. I mean, obviously we're not doing scores yet, but watching this, I do have to kind of give credit to Spider One because like I like my fair share of Rob Zombie flicks, but he's always hit or miss with me. So, but for this, it may not be like a 10 out of 10, but I like what he did. I like that Spider, like I said, Scott was like the most notable name in this, whereas Rob tends to use a lot of big time icons, which is kind of like cheating in some ways when you do a horror film, you know? So I kind of give credit to his brother to kind of, you know, just tack on some more unknown actors to perform in this film. Now, you know, I pulled this up on Wiki because I wanted to make sure I had the story straight, but I'm reading through it, and whoever did this, their version of what was in the movie is not what I saw, and I went to go look to see if there's like a different version of this film. There's not. So as we go along, like I'm just gonna read because when did you watch it? Last night or today?
Today.
Yeah. So you'll remember at least what you saw. But yeah, so basically it takes like different people, and it kind of like looks at their inner turmoil as, you know, how they're dealing with life and art and how it's, you know, affects them and what they do and how it can be destructive in certain ways. And so our first episode basically has a woman named Brody, and then John Enos plays Robert Anson Wright, who initially when I saw him, I thought, is that Oliver Reed, like only with gray hair? Like, because he looked almost like him. Like it was really crazy.
Yeah.
But so Wright, you know, he's like this instructor for acting, and he's there and he pushes these students to be better than they are and get their most out of their acting ability. So she is kind of like withdrawn a little bit, and then eventually when he yells at her and he's you know saying like I want you to act like I want to see your monster. I want to see like what happens if you got raped by a bunch of men, and he just goes off the wall with how he attacks her. And then of course she ends up turning her head up and she's like almost like this zombie like possessed state. Yeah. So what is your initial reactions to this film?
The whole film or just the beginning?
Just the beginning.
I didn't. Well, he's doing that speech in the beginning to himself, and I'm like, "What the hell are we getting into?" You know. And then I was like, I had to like, you know, what is this about? I didn't even like know. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like, okay. He's like, we're gonna project this, you know, in the theater, and it's gonna make it real, kind of thing. Like, all right. And then it happens, and then it's like, okay, well, what's going on? But then as you go out throughout the movie, how everything ties in, like where she's on the phone and that, it's cool how they did that. That was cool. But the movie has some positives and negatives, of course. But I don't know. I think he should just stick to music. That's all I'm saying. I'm just gonna say it now. But
yeah, so that first one, of course, when she basically shows her possessed self, her true monster, she like bites the fingers off of the instructor or something and just turns horrific. But then we get jumped into the next segment, which has this guy named Marcus who's a painter, and he's got a creative block, even though he's already painted this like huge thing, right?
Yeah.
Which we've seen similar things like this in Tales of the Crypt, where they play with the art and how it reflects life and stuff. But he ends up like encountering like a ghastly, decayed figure, and that's something that like he kind of painted in his portrait. It was him, and then like this like dark figure, and kind of like charcoal or something. Now again, like the person that like gave like some of the information there, like the way to describe this was different than what I saw in the film. So it's like I'm wondering if they saw something different than we did, because this wasn't what I saw. But some of it's similar. Obviously, Marcus ends up getting his throat cut, and then the charcoal figure uses that as like the paintbrush to finish the painting or whatever.
Yeah.
That was probably my least favorite. Was probably that one. It was just kind of boring and slow.
Yeah. I didn't really understand that one, to be honest. I was like, well, who the hell is this thing? Is it him?
Right.
Or I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like that one. It didn't start off very strong. Well,
No.
it started off okay because
was a dick.
it's going to reflect this, art in real life and monsters and that. And then it's like, oh, all right. And then like this one, I was like, well, that guy's an asshole. And we didn't even get like a good death or anything. That's like,
yeah. And see, that's going to be something that I'll talk about as we go along here. But the third one, we have this guy, Eddie Park, who is a screenwriter and for slasher movies. And he's at his laptop and he's going at it and he's describing to himself and he's getting excited about how he's writing the script. And eventually, though, as he gets to the end, he has this character named the Whistler, and the killer, it ends up showing up at his house, like not happy with the way he wrote the ending. So he starts fucking him up. He just like slams his head onto the desk, and he's messing him up. And then like this person here didn't even mention the girlfriend, but that was like one of my favorite parts of this particular one, is when she shows up and he takes the knife and he's basically just cutting up her center there. And I thought, oh, that's good. I like that. It's gory. It's pretty nice.
yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it's a little bit crazy, but again, I guess the way that Spider's trying to relay the message is that each one of these artists are dealing with internal turmoil that comes out in real life in some way to like affect them in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, next one was kind of my favorite, but now I'm kind of pissed because this guy described it way different. But so you have John, and he invites this sculptor over. It's played by Scout Compton, and they've been on a date, and he's kind of nerdy. She's like really hot. And so they're talking and getting to know each other. And then she shows him what she does for a living as a sculptor. And it's all these like photos of people pretty much in death poses, like, and she's like looking at him like how he's going to react. And he's kind of like, what?
Yeah.
And so then she like tries to sort of push him to be a better artist himself, even to a point that one time she takes like a butcher knife and she's like ready to cut her own throat, even though she doesn't. But it's kind of like she's just trying to see him get a reaction out of him to see if he'll like blossom, I guess they would call it.
Yeah.
But then like, she ends up like they call it a day. She puts her scarf around him. He's like, can I call you again? She's like, sure. Then she gets out the car, and like this one, it was predictable, and I'll tell you why I wish it wasn't. But she gets to her car and she's like rethinking it, because like, he was going to have coffee with her some more and maybe try to put the moves on or whatever. But she ends up saying fuck it, and she goes back to the door and he answers, and then she just like clobbers him. Now here's the thing, the person that described this, okay, so you remember this particular chapter, right?
Yeah.
So this is what this person says. It says John, played by Adam Bush, invites sculptor Ivy over for a date. As the evening progresses, Ivy reveals her obsession with capturing true emotion in her art. She drugs John and uses his unconscious body as a mold for her next sculpture. Now, she does do this, but it's not a drug. Like, she knocks him out of the fucking mouth or something. Then it says, upon awakening, John finds himself restrained, witnessing Ivy's descent into madness as she mutilates him and to create her masterpiece. It says this scene is intensely graphic, showcasing Ivy's transformation into a deranged artist consumed by her work. That never happened in this film. All I got was she knocks him out, and then the next scene we see is him sitting in the chair with the guitar, and there's just like strobing lights, and she's kind of taking pictures at that point. We never see any kind of torture in this.
No.
So this is why I'm like confused by this person writing this. Like, did you see a different movie than I did? Like, can I find this movie? Now, the other thing I'm going to ask you about this is I kind of wish, because it seemed like it was kind of predictable, especially when she showed the photos. And I kept saying to myself, it would have been cooler if he was a serial killer and he just outsmarted her. You know, like I would have liked to seen that play out.
Yeah,
or
like,
and she was shy, and she's had like this sexual power over him.
Yeah,
I would have liked to see him kind of like be another serial killer that kind of just outsmarts her, but I don't know.
And maybe like she like influences him, and then he ends up killing her, and she's like, oh, you know, like all like orgasmic about it before she dies, and he's like.
Yeah, almost like that movie you showed me some time back, the painter guy that was making sculptures out of live bodies.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So this one was actually my favorite, but again, I would have done some different things with it. Plus, the way they described it here, I'm almost like I wish I would have seen more of that.
Yeah.
Okay, then we go into our next chapter, which basically kind of like sets us up from the beginning. Is Hope, who is Brody's roommate. So Brody's the girl from the first one who went all possessed and whatnot. So Hope is like this rock singer. She's like this Asian chick rock singer for this punk band. And, you know, obviously as they go and practice their rehearsals and stuff, like one of the band members is like, yeah, I've got the devil nose. This goes back to Studio 666 a little bit. Where you have to play these riffs in a certain format to get the devil's note or whatever it is you're looking for. Probably the same with like Deathgasm, you know, in that line of thinking.
Yeah.
So she takes the notes home and begins to play them on her piano, which somehow, you know, gets Brody, who's asleep in bed, possessed, and she's doing all these crazy exorcist bending and whatnot in the bed and stuff like that. So that's basically how she gets possessed by this. But again, this person writing this, so here we go. Hope, Brody's roommate, is a rock singer experimenting with occult practices. Her band discovers a sequence of musical notes that, when played, summon a demonic entity. During a rehearsal, the band plays the forbidden melody, inadvertently opening a portal to a malevolent force. The entity possesses the band members, leading to a chaotic and bloody massacre as they turn on each other under its influence. That never happened. It never happened like that in that movie.
No.
So either I got like fooled, like somehow I'm not in the really real world right now, but that never happened. Like not like that.
No, not at all.
So yeah, so that's why I'm wondering if like there was at one point a different version of this, but
that sounds more like Deathgasm.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, and that's probably right. This person may have been confusing the films. But yeah, so it actually happened the way I described it, where the lead singer, she just takes the notes home and plays them on the piano, and that's when it possesses her roommate.
Yeah.
And then, of course, obviously, by the end of it, they just kind of show how that's how it started for Brody to be possessed and, you know, go in and start back from the beginning and all that shit. So yeah, they're not very long. It's only like an hour movie, a little bit over an hour for this film.
Yeah.
So yeah, what you got any thoughts on this as you were watching it? The rest of it?
The only thing I was thinking of this whole time was Veronica. Did you ever see that movie?
I have not. Is that the Danzig film?
It's terrible. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Like, it was painful. And this wasn't as painful as that, but this was a little bit painful to watch, I'll tell you. Like, I know, some of the acting was like kind of bad, like too bad, and the quality in it was like back and forth. It seemed like you could tell like it's a lower budget, and then it's like I don't know. They didn't put the money in there. I don't know. It just didn't. I get what he was doing. I like the whole manifestation of the monsters. Like, I thought it was going to be creatures coming out and stuff like that, and it was clever what he did. Like, but it doesn't make sense. Like, why would the character come out, kill his creator, and then see it I can't wait for the sequel. It's like, how you
Yeah.
had no sequel, idiot. You just killed him. So like,
Oh,
that makes sense.
There is a bit of I read a couple of reviews. There is a bit of like whether or not this was really happening. So in the case of your screenwriter, even though we're seeing it like legitly, some of the people that were reviewing it were saying that was kind of like in his mind what was happening, not real life stuff. So
I could see that.
Yeah, because again, the way that, from what I understand, Spider wanted this to be people who were artists that were struggling with, their doubts of themselves of whether or not they can do these things, and so those doubts were manifest into like monsters or whatever, and that's sort of like what was going on.
So like, in other words, like nobody died in this movie.
That's what some people think. Is like it's just all in their head,
That makes it more interesting if you think of it that way. If this is all now, I know people are like, "Oh, this better not be a dream," kind of thing, which and it never is, like anymore. But like this, to make it actually, everybody is just we're seeing what they're feeling.
Yeah,
kind of like like nobody can describe depression, what it looks like, and then people make, oh, this is the monster. You ever see those drawings like depression and monster? That's kind of, I get that. All right, that's clever. I like that idea.
It does say at the bottom here, it says the final scene features a haunting monologue that encapsulates the film's themes of creativity, madness, and the blurred lines between art and reality. So I do think that's sort of like maybe what Spider was going for, is to kind of just make you, you can enjoy it for what we're seeing, but it's supposed to be more of like just what's going on in their head rather than what's actually happening in real life.
Right. Well, I don't know. I mean, the idea there is good. I like that idea, but I guess maybe it just didn't come out perfectly how he wanted.
Yeah.
Like that one with the guy and the girl like dating, and then it's like what we said would have been way better, but then I guess it wouldn't make sense because it's not in his head.
Correct.
Or maybe then she would be in his head. I don't know.
Yeah, unless we were going through, like you kind of made a good point. It's like you could probably get away with it if it was like, because they're both artists in a way. So she comes in and she's the one that we think is going to have this issue, but it's actually him playing his own fantasy and doubts in his mind.
Yeah.
So even if they would have switched it to him being a better serial killer, but that's kind of like a better, approach to it. But they were just using her as the catalyst. So
true. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, it does change your perspective a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, it gives a little bit more points, I guess.
Yeah. Well, what is your final thoughts and then your rating for this?
Well, like I said, the overall idea was good. The wraparound, like the way it all ties in, was very good. That's one of the better ones I've seen, because I just thought it was just like random shit and it's all tied together. I was like, oh, okay. Unlike the other one that didn't, whatever. We'll get to that later. Yeah, I thought Scouta obviously was like the best one, that was the best actor in the film. It was all right. It was low budget. It wasn't Veronica. That don't watch that, man.
I've heard
Well,
people just hate that movie.
it's bad. They tried, I guess, but that's what I felt like going into this. But that has there's nothing in mind when you watch that one. This one they actually had an idea. So
The special effects are pretty good too. I was actually pretty
yeah,
impressed with them.
yeah, they weren't bad. But the endings like, I don't know, just like, why was she was possessed, and then she answers the door and she's like, just talks and says all this
Mhm.
stuff, and then that's that. Well, what happened to the girl that played the notes?
She was sitting on the couch, and then something happened. I don't think we ever saw what happened to her, but we just
Yeah,
like I think we heard like a scream or something.
yeah, I don't know.
But again, like if we're supposed to take it from Brody's point of view, that's just shit going on in her head. Although in this case, Hope is also an artist, so maybe this was her story, so maybe it's more from her point of view of because she does. In fact, that's the thing, right? So she goes to sit on the couch, and then she starts hearing the notes play. And so is this like her like replaying it in her head? Like it's really creepy because she just got done talking to her roommate and she was acting bizarre. So now she's like thinking about that. And so like, who knows?
Yeah, because like it's like they didn't show anybody playing the piano,
Right.
and it's like, is that thing gonna, because it was following her, which was
Yeah.
creepy. So I
Yeah.
thought that's what we were gonna see, but no, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. My original score was I believe I was gonna give this a 4.5. Or no, I was gonna give it a 5. But I think I'm gonna give it probably a 6. I got 6. It's not great. I mean, it's not a great movie. I mean, we're talking it up, but we're
Well,
trying to. It's
yeah. Well,
I
I
don't know.
mean,
I
like I
don't
said,
really
like,
think it's that good.
well, yeah, but like I kind of like again, I mean, obviously I'm being kind of unfair because I'm comparing it to his brother, but it's like
Oh,
I appreciated that he did this. Like I said, the more I thought about it as I watched it, I was like, okay, this isn't like a perfect movie by any means, but like
no.
the fact that he pulled this off and has some pretty cool effects and stuff. And then I kept thinking about Rob, and I was like, I do like some of Rob's stuff, but it's like he overloads his movies all the time with all these big name icons from the horror
Yeah.
genre. It's like it's kind of unfair. If Spider had done that, this might have been a whole different movie. You know what I mean?
Well, one has the
So
budget and one doesn't, and
right.
then one has to put his wife and everything, and people are sick of it. So
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is like I can appreciate some of what Rob does, but again, it's kind of cheating when you're
no.
taking these big name guys and putting them in your film. So
Yeah,
at least Spider gets credit for at least trying to do it mostly with unknowns, and so I kind of appreciate that.
yeah,
And then again, like we said, the whole like different look at how it's supposed to be presented. If it's all in the mind, then that kind of makes it a very interesting film.
yeah,
But yeah, I'm not as that far from you. I gave it a 7 out of 10. It's not horrible, but it's not the greatest thing either. But still, I was kind of surprised. I even liked it a little bit. I would have changed some things, but as you said, you always say like whenever you talk about a film, sometimes it makes you reevaluate it. And so as we were discussing it and talking
yeah,
about what the possibilities are, why this is happening, makes
yeah.
it a little more interesting.
That idea that you said made it like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. I could see that totally being another perspective of it.
Yeah.
And that gave it that other point, and literally a point.
Get 1 point.
1 point. You've got. Oh, how did you say that? You just went up a notch in my cool book.
Cool
I
book.
put you at notch 1.
Get another notch in my bedpost.
Oh,
Oh.
you're just a line in a song.
Now I do have my pick for next week, and I promise I'm staying away from the newer ones now. I think I've done like 3 in a row that were like more
Yeah.
new or recent.
Yeah.
So, well, this is actually still kind of new, but it's not as high budget. But we're gonna go back to my old reliable Miss Angel Bradford,
Okay.
Disremembered. So I haven't had chance to check this one out yet, but I'm looking forward to checking it out, see how it is. She's done so many movies now, but it's like most of them aren't yet released or can't be found yet. So it's like I'm waiting and waiting and waiting.
Yeah.
But
There's
yeah,
that
that's
other
where I'm
one with
at.
the woods that they're
Children of the Woods, yeah, isn't that supposed to be out by now?
I don't know. I want to see that one. It's kind of like a Blair Witch kind of thing.
Yeah, like I talked to the director occasionally, but it's like I kept thinking it'd be out by now, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah. I'm
All
sure
right.
when it is, we'll know.
Well, we'll be doing episode 89 soon.
Yeah.
And Mr. Tony's pick is 2025's VHS Halloween. And I'm going to have some interesting things to say about that.
Me too.
But please go like and subscribe to Mr. Tony the Dead. And like and subscribe to the Metal Time Radio podcast if you enjoy the content. We love doing this particular show. As always, if you guys have any recommendations you'd like us to check out and review, let us know in the comments section. It doesn't matter if it's on my page or his.
Yep.
We will always take it under advisement. Advisement. We just take it under advisement.
That's right.
Doesn't mean it's going to happen. Just under advisement.
But there's not a long waiting list, so
nope. The only list you got battle is his and mine, but we usually change that up all the time anyway.
Yep.
But yeah, thank you all again. Give us your comments. How do you feel about this film? Have you seen it? If you're going to see it, it's on Shudder. I think it's a Shudder original, actually. But yeah, appreciate the support as always, and we'll see you next time on the Metal Time Radio podcast, The Ghouls of Midnight.
Good night.
You see me for you.